Have you ever come across an old coin sitting quietly in a drawer or hiding deep in your coin jar, one that looks aged with time but still carries a sense of history and mystery? What if I told you that one of those coins could be worth much more than just 1 cent? Today we are diving into one of the most iconic coins in American history, the 1941 Lincoln penny. This isn't just any coin, it's a piece of American legacy bearing the face of Abraham Lincoln and dating back to the era just before the United States entered World War II. In this video we will explore why the 1941 Lincoln penny holds so much historical and collectible value, what to look for in your own collection, and how much this coin is actually worth in today's market. Let's begin with a little background. The Lincoln penny was first minted in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It replaced the Indian head cent and became the first American coin to feature the likeness of a real person rather than an allegorical figure. Lincoln's image was designed by Victor David Brenner and has remained on the coin ever since. Now fast forward to 1941. The world was in turmoil. Europe was engulfed in war, but the United States had not yet joined the fight. Despite the brewing global conflict, the U.S. Mint continued to produce coins for commerce, and that year the 1941 Lincoln penny was struck in massive numbers at 3 mint locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Over 887 million 1941 pennies were minted in total, making them far from rare. However, not all 1941 pennies are created equal. Some versions of this coin contain subtle variations, minting errors, or pristine conditions that drive their value much higher than face value, and this is where things get interesting. Let's talk about value. On average, a circulated 1941 Lincoln penny is worth about 1 to 2 cents above face value. That's right. In worn condition it is barely worth more than a penny, but if the coin is in better shape, uncirculated, or even in mint state condition, then the value begins to rise rapidly. For example, a 1941 penny graded MS-65 by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC can fetch anywhere from $5 to $15, and that's just the beginning. Now let's explore some of the rare variants that collectors are always hunting for. One of the most sought-after versions is the 1941 double die penny. This error occurs when the coin is struck more than once with a slightly misaligned die, resulting in a doubling effect on the lettering or date. If you find a true 1941 double die penny in mint condition, it could be worth several $100s or more. Another factor that affects value is the mint mark. Coins struck in Denver bear the letter D, while coins from San Francisco carry an S. The 1941 S Lincoln penny can be more valuable in high grade, especially with sharp details and original luster. In mint state, the 1941 S can be worth between $20 and $50, and in rare cases even more. Then there's the grade. A coin's grade is a measure of its condition, and it plays a massive role in its value. A 1941 penny graded MS-67 red, meaning it has full original red luster and no signs of wear, can be worth over $1,000 due to its rarity and such pristine condition. These coins are highly prized by serious collectors and often end up in private collections or auctions. Let's not forget proof coins either. Although the U.S. Mint did not issue proof pennies in 1941 due to the war effort, some experimental or test coins might surface from time to time. While these are exceedingly rare and not officially cataloged, if you ever come across a 1941 penny that looks unusually shiny and flawless, it's worth having it professionally evaluated. So what is the current market doing today? Right now in 2025, with the growing interest in coin collecting and historical memorabilia, even common coins from the 1940s are gaining traction. A 1941 penny with a modest grade might sell for $1.18 in the current collector's market. That might not seem like a fortune, but considering its face value is only 1 cent, that's a return of over 1,000%. More importantly, the sentimental and historical value of a coin like this is something you can't measure with dollars. It's a physical connection to America's past, a time capsule in copper and zinc that tells the story of a nation on the brink of change. So what should you do if you think you have a 1941 Lincoln penny? First, take a close look. Check the mint mark, the date, the overall condition. Use a magnifying glass or a smartphone camera to examine details like the lettering and edges. If you suspect the coin might be uncirculated or contain a minting error, get it evaluated by a professional coin grading service. And if you're just starting your coin collecting journey, the 1941 penny is an excellent place to begin. Affordable, easy to find, and rich with history, it's the perfect gateway into the world of numismatics. Remember, just because a coin is old doesn't mean it's rare, and just because it's common doesn't mean it's not valuable. Keep an eye out for those small details, because sometimes a simple Lincoln penny can surprise you with its hidden worth. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this dive into the world of coins, be sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating videos about hidden treasures, history, and how to spot value in the everyday world. And let us know in the comments, do you have a 1941 penny in your collection? We'd love to hear your story. Everyone, to another exciting episode where we dive into the fascinating world of rare coins and hidden treasures that might be sitting right in your pocket change. Today, we're talking about one of the most iconic coins in American history, the Lincoln penny. But not just any Lincoln penny. We're focusing on the 1942 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny. Could this simple 1-cent coin be worth more than you think? Stick around because the answer might surprise you. First off, let's talk about the basics. The 1942 Lincoln penny was minted during a significant time in U.S. history. World War II was raging overseas. The country was shifting its economy, materials were being conserved, and the U.S. Mint was producing coins at full throttle. Despite the high mint numbers that year, some Lincoln pennies from 1942 have become incredibly valuable due to their condition, errors, and mint location. Now, the average 1942 Lincoln penny that you find in circulation today isn't going to make you rich. Most of them are only worth a few cents over face value, maybe 10 to 20 cents if they're in decent condition. But that's not the whole story. Let's dig deeper. There are a few key things that can make a 1942 Lincoln penny worth a lot of money. First is the mint mark. In 1942, Lincoln pennies were minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. If you find a 1942 penny with a small D for Denver or S for San Francisco under the date, that could slightly raise the value, especially in higher grades. But what really makes collectors' eyes light up are rare varieties and mint errors. Let's talk about condition. A 1942 penny that's uncirculated, meaning it has never been used in everyday transactions, can be worth quite a bit. If it's in MS65 red condition, which is a grading term used by professionals, it could sell for anywhere from $25 up to over $100 depending on demand. Red means the coin has retained most of its original copper color without turning brown due to oxidation. A bright red shine can make all the difference, but here's where it gets interesting. There are some rare 1942 Lincoln pennies that have errors, double dies, off-center strikes, and repunched mint marks. These kinds of mint errors can raise the value dramatically. For example, a 1942 penny with a strong doubled die obverse, meaning the front of the coin shows doubled features like the date or Lincoln's profile, can sell for hundreds of dollars if authenticated and graded. There's also the mystery of the missing 1942 steel penny. You might have heard of the 1943 steel cent, the one made from zinc-coated steel to save copper for the war effort. But there are some rumors and claims that a small number of 1942 pennies were struck using steel planchets by mistake. These are ultra-rare and incredibly valuable if they exist. But be warned, there are many fakes out there, so if you think you have one, get it authenticated by a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Now, let's talk about today's market. What's the current value of a 1942 Lincoln penny in 2025? For circulated coins in average condition, the value ranges from about 5 cents up to $1. If the coin is in better condition, it might fetch $2 to $5. But if your 1942 penny is in brilliant uncirculated condition with a full red luster, you could be looking at a value of up to $50 or more. Rare errors or high-grade proofs could go even higher. We're talking hundreds, possibly even over $1,000 in the most extreme cases. Interestingly, I've seen some listings on eBay and coin collector forums where sellers are asking for $100 or even several $100s for high-grade or error versions of the 1942 Lincoln penny. But remember, asking price is not always selling price. Always check the actual sold listings to see what people are truly willing to pay. And now you might be asking, is a 1942 Lincoln penny ever really worth thousands of dollars? In rare cases, yes. A high-grade example certified by PCGS or NGC, especially one with a major error, could easily fetch 4 figures at auction. But these are exceptions, not the rule. So what should you do if you have a 1942 Lincoln penny? First, take a close look at the date and mint mark. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Check for any signs of doubling, strange marks, or off-center strikes. Then, examine the condition. The fewer scratches and the more original color it has, the better. Finally, if you think you have something truly rare, consider sending it in for grading. Yes, it costs money, but it can make a huge difference when you go to sell it. Before we wrap up, here's a quick summary. The 1942 Abraham Lincoln penny is a common coin with uncommon potential. While most are worth only a little more than face value, rare mint errors and pristine condition examples can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Keep an eye out, because that little brown penny in your change jar might be a hidden treasure. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe for more content on rare coins, collectibles, and how to spot value in everyday items. Drop a comment below if you've ever found an old penny in your pocket or if you want me to cover a specific year or coin in the next video. Until next time, happy collecting and keep checking your change. If you've ever gone through a jar of spare change, you might have seen a 1957 Lincoln penny. At first glance, it may look like just another old copper coin. But what if I told you that some of these seemingly ordinary coins are now worth far more than just 1 cent? In this video, we'll uncover the fascinating story behind the 1957 Lincoln penny, what makes some of them incredibly valuable, and how you can tell if you have one of these hidden treasures sitting in your pocket change or coin collection. Let's start with a bit of history. The Lincoln cent, also known as the Lincoln penny, was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person and has remained a staple of American coinage ever since. By 1957, the Lincoln penny had already been in circulation for nearly 50 years, and the design was well known. Lincoln's profile on the front, and 2 wheat stalks surrounding the words 1 cent on the back, also known as the wheat penny design. The 1957 Lincoln penny was struck in 2 different mints, Philadelphia and Denver. If your coin has no mint mark under the date, it was minted in Philadelphia. If it has a small D mint mark, it came from the Denver Mint. In total, hundreds of millions of 1957 Lincoln pennies were made, over 280 million from Philadelphia and more than 1 billion from Denver. So why would this common penny be worth more than 1 cent? The answer lies in a few key factors: condition, rarity, mint errors, and collector demand. Let's talk condition first. A circulated 1957 Lincoln penny, the kind most people find in jars or old piggy banks, usually isn't worth more than a few cents. But if the coin is in uncirculated condition, meaning it was never used and has no wear, it could be worth significantly more. In mint state grades, especially MS-65 or higher, a 1957 penny can fetch a few dollars or even over $10 depending on the eye appeal and market demand, but the real value lies in rare mint errors. Some 1957 pennies were accidentally struck with doubling on the letters and numbers. These are called doubled die errors. A 1957 doubled die penny, especially with clear doubling on the date or the motto, "In God We Trust," can be worth hundreds of dollars or more to serious collectors. Other errors to look for include off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, and coins struck on the wrong planchet. Some of these error pennies have sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars at auction. For example, a 1957 D penny with a dramatic doubled die obverse in pristine condition once sold for over $500. Another error coin with a deep die cap, a rare form of striking error, sold for more than $800. Even standard, high-grade 1957 pennies graded MS-67 by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC have sold for over $100 depending on market conditions. And what about the Lincoln penny with no mint mark? Some viewers ask if a 1957 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is more valuable. The answer is, it depends on the condition and whether there are any errors. A no mint mark 1957 penny in average condition is very common and worth a few cents. But a coin in top condition or with a rare error could be worth much more, and now here's where it gets really interesting. As of now, the current market value for a standard 1957 Lincoln penny in average condition is around 1 to 2 cents. However, a coin in mint condition, we're talking red, lustrous surfaces with no wear, could be worth up to $5 or $10. If it's a certified MS-67 coin, the value could shoot up to over $100. And if it has a rare error, the sky's the limit. At the time of this video, a few top examples have sold for well above $100. That's an incredible return for a coin that was once worth just 1 cent. So what should you do if you think you have a valuable 1957 penny? First, check the condition. Is it worn, or does it still have its original mint luster? Next, look closely for doubling on the letters or numbers. A jeweler's loupe or a coin microscope can help. Then check for any other unusual features like off-center strikes or missing details. If you find something suspicious or interesting, consider having the coin graded by a professional service. Even if your coin isn't worth hundreds of dollars, it's still a fascinating piece of American history. It's a direct link to the past, a time when you could buy a bottle of soda or a candy bar for a penny. And who knows, your 1957 Lincoln penny might just be worth more than you think. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or interesting, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more rare coin facts, money mysteries, and hidden treasures in your pocket change. And don't forget to check your coins, because you never know what you might find. Have you ever wondered if that old penny sitting in your drawer could be worth more than 1 cent? Well, if you have a 1951 D Lincoln penny, you might be holding a small fortune in the palm of your hand. In today's video, we're diving deep into the history, the value, and the potential worth of the 1951 D Lincoln penny. This humble coin might just surprise you. The 1951 D Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint. Over 625 million of these pennies were produced, so on the surface, it may not seem rare. But here's the thing. While many were made, finding one in pristine condition today is a whole different story. Most of these coins were circulated and worn down by years of use. That means a high-grade example is incredibly hard to come by, and collectors are always on the hunt for one in top condition. Now let's talk value. In circulated condition, a 1951 D penny is usually worth anywhere from 2 cents to around 50 cents depending on its wear and color. But that's just the beginning. If you come across one that's uncirculated with original red color and no major marks or blemishes, you could be looking at real money. A high-grade red specimen in mint state 65 condition or higher can fetch between $15 and $75 on the current market. But that's not even the peak. Here's where things get exciting. A 1951 D Lincoln penny in mint state 67 red with full original luster and flawless surfaces has been sold at auction for over $1,000. Yes, over $1,000 for a single penny. And guess what? That was just one example. The value keeps climbing as more collectors compete to complete their sets with the finest known pieces. There's also something else to keep in mind. Errors and varieties. Some 1951 D pennies show doubling on the date or the lettering. Others have off-center strikes or repunched mint marks. These error coins can be highly sought after by specialists and sometimes command hundreds of dollars or more depending on rarity and demand. So how do you know if you've got one of these valuable coins? Start by checking the mint mark. The letter D should be just below the date. Then look at the condition of the coin. Is it shiny and red or dark and worn? You might want to use a magnifying glass to spot any doubling or other unusual features. If your coin looks promising, it's always a good idea to have it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate the coin and assign it a grade, which greatly affects its market value. Right now in 2025, collectors are paying strong premiums for high-grade Lincoln cents from the 1950s. The market value of a top-condition 1951 D penny has been rising steadily. Some recent auctions have seen these coins sell for well over $1,200, especially when they are certified and in high demand. So take a second look at that old penny jar or coin collection. The next valuable find might be right under your nose. That 1951 D Lincoln penny could be worth a whole lot more than just face value. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want more coin collecting tips and hidden treasures from your pocket change, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. Let me know in the comments if you've got a 1951 D penny and what condition it's in. You never know, it might just be a goldmine in copper. Have you ever come across a 1946 Lincoln penny with no mint mark and wondered if it could be worth more than just 1 cent? If so, you're not alone. Most people don't give a second thought to pennies in their pocket change, but certain coins like the 1946 Lincoln wheat penny can actually be worth a surprising amount of money. So today, we're diving deep into the story, the history, the rarity, and the value behind the 1946 no mint mark Lincoln cent. First, let's set the scene. It's 1946. World War II had just ended. The world was rebuilding. In the United States, the mint resumed normal operations after years of adjusting materials and production to support the war effort. And that includes making coins like the Lincoln wheat penny. Now, what exactly is the Lincoln penny from 1946? It's a 1-cent coin featuring the profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse or front side. The reverse side has the classic wheat ears design that collectors refer to as the wheat penny. These coins were produced from 1909 until 1958, and the 1946 version sits right in the middle of that timeline. If your penny has no mint mark, that means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. In 1946, Philadelphia minted over 991 million of these pennies. Yes, that's nearly a billion. So, by default, these coins are not considered rare. But, and this is important, not all 1946 no mint mark pennies are created equal. The condition of the coin makes a massive difference in its value. A 1946 penny in heavily circulated condition might only be worth its face value. But if you've got one in uncirculated or mint state condition, the value can jump significantly. Collectors pay premiums for coins with no scratches, no wear, and strong luster. So how much are we talking? As of now, in the current coin market, a 1946 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark in average circulated condition is usually worth around 1 to 5 cents. Not much, right? But here's where things get exciting. If your coin is in uncirculated condition, graded MS60 or above, it can fetch anywhere from $5 to $15 depending on eye appeal, color, and demand. And that's not all. If the coin has a red color designation from a grading company, meaning it kept its original copper shine, the value increases even more. The record price paid for a 1946 no mint mark Lincoln penny was over $1,100. Yes, you heard that right. $1,100 for a single penny. This coin was graded MS68 red by PCGS, one of the top coin grading companies in the world. That means it was almost perfect, in pristine condition, just as it came from the mint back in 1946. But wait, there's more to look out for. Some rare errors and varieties from 1946 can also be worth money. These include double die obverse coins where the date or letters show signs of doubling. There are also coins with off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and other mint-made mistakes. These errors are popular among collectors and can increase the value by hundreds of dollars depending on severity and uniqueness. So how do you know if your 1946 penny is valuable? Here's what to do. First, check the date. If it says 1946 and there's no mint mark under the date, that means it came from Philadelphia. Second, look closely at the coin's condition. Is it worn out or does it still shine? Third, examine it for any signs of errors like doubling or strange shapes. Finally, if you think it's special, consider getting it graded by a professional coin grading company like PCGS or NGC. Grading your coin can authenticate it and make it easier to sell at a premium. Right now, the average market value for a circulated 1946 no mint mark penny is about $1.18 for a very nice condition coin. Yes, that's $1.18 for a single penny, which is over 100 times its face value. But remember, not every penny will make you rich. Most of them are still only worth a cent. However, finding one in great condition or with a rare error can make your search worthwhile. So the next time you come across a handful of change or go through an old coin jar, take a moment to look at the dates. That 1946 no mint mark Lincoln penny might just be more than meets the eye. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins and their hidden values, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. And as always, happy coin hunting!